Are willing and able for our hymn from the Gray Hymnal, number 83, Winds Be Still.
Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come. Please grace this time with harmony. Light of hope and shine, light of love, and in calm let all find tranquility. Bird fly high, lift our gaze for distant view. Help us to sense life's mystery. Fly high and far and please do we see how we move through the winds of eternity. Light shining, illuminate our inward view. Help us to see with clarity. Shine bright and true, so we may join our songs in new sounds that become full symphony.
We bid you welcome. In this community of radical inclusion, we make space for you to believe in what you love. Your whole self is welcome here. In this community of open-hearted inclusion for all people, we do not expect you to think a certain way or restrict yourself to one set of beliefs. We only ask that you try to live a kindly, helpful life with the dignity proper to a human being. Welcome, all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any set of opinions. Welcome all who might find in our friendship strength and encouragement for daily living. We are so grateful that you are here. My name is Helen Smith. I am your service leader today. My pronouns are she and her. Thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us, whether enjoying the service in person or watching online. I'd like to extend a special welcome to any visitors today. After the service, we invite you to participate in our Treats on the Trail event immediately after service right outside. We will have coffee and donuts and fun games to enjoy. Please take a moment now to silence your phones, but we encourage you to share your experience and your presence with us online on social media. I have a few announcements. This is an important announcement from the fundraising committee. We are still in need of donations for our upcoming Superheroes auctions. If you don't know what to donate, you do not have to offer a large party. Here are some examples of what you can donate.
Hold on. Does anybody know what day is the service auction? The 16th. November 16th. Okay, just wanted to make sure we got that out there. Nobody forgets. There is life after the election, and we're still going to have a good time.
So some examples of things you can donate. Small gatherings for any reason, held anywhere at all, so anything. Sports events, how-to events, speakers, activities, game nights, tours, dinners, wine tasting, movie night, theater, etc. You can donate any unwanted items in good condition, good time to clean out your closets. You can offer services such as gardening, housekeeping, dog sitting, home repairs, special skills, airport shuttle service, cooking, etc. Today was the deadline for offers, but it has been extended to next Sunday, November the 3rd, so we still have time to do that. Please help make this auction a success by donating. You can submit your donations by using the QR code on the poster in Adams Hall, or click on the URL code sent to you in your e-blast and magnet. Remember, the funds earned from this auction support our UUCF building, RE, social justice, and the events we sponsor. The UUCF Choir will be performing a concert at Fox Run Senior Living Community. The concert theme is Through the Decades and is filled with lots of fun music. You are invited. Please come support the choir as they provide music to the Fox Run community. Please see Diana for more information. And finally, everyone is invited to participate in the treats on the trail, on our trails following today's service. We look forward to seeing you there. And also check the UUCF website or emails for other announcements and upcoming events. As we light this chalice, may we hold a place of peace, memory, and power within our hearts. You can tell I'm nervous, I'm saying charting here. Let us rejoice in the sacred time together. Please join me in reciting our UUCF mission statement, which can be found in your order of service. We seek answers everywhere, include everyone, and live with compassion. Our RE coordinator, Argo Kramer, is going to lead us in the message for all ages, after which we will be treated through a wonderful Halloween costume parade.
Hello everyone, I'm Argo. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns. So you may have noticed our youths are not dressed how they usually are today. So today is a special day where we get to dress up and pretend to be anyone or anything we want. I suppose Halloween has kind of been extended this whole week. So we may see costumes dressed as superheroes or our favorite characters because of their empathy, their strength, or their kindness or bravery. Maybe you're wearing a costume that makes you feel brave, like a superhero, or silly like a clown, or comfy. When we put on a costume, it's like magic. We get to see the world in a whole new way, just for a little while. In Unitarian Universalism, we believe that every person is important and has their own special story. Each of us brings something different to the world which connects us all together. When we put on costumes, it's a fun way to imagine what it might be like to be someone else, someone with their own values, ideas, beliefs, and stories. Maybe we can see how another person feels or why they do things their own way. Or costumes can empower us, make us feel brave or emboldened. Each person is different, and that's what makes this world beautiful, just like a fun costume party. Just like we love and respect each other here, we can also appreciate the many different costumes people wear every day. Each people with their own ideas, talents, stories helps make the world a more interesting and loving place. So, while we enjoy pretending today and this week, let's also remember that the best part of all is just being ourselves. We each bring our own light to the world, and when we are kind, curious, and try to understand each other, we are shining our brightest light. We all bring our own magic to this costume party. Let's celebrate that we can be anything we want, both in our costumes today and in our hearts every day. All right, all of our youth can come up to the front, and I will lead you in a costume parade down to RE class. Okay. Sounds great. All right. Okay, I'm gonna start heading this way, and then why don't you start, you can start our line behind me, okay? Cool. All right. Everybody can rise. All right. This way, go this way first.
Thank you, Diana. I just love this place because there's like what I imagined, what happened, and then what's different. Like, well, this is great too. So, so I really appreciate the laughter and the flexibility of this community. And weren't our kids awesome? I just love seeing them. I really enjoy being here and seeing them be silly and be their true, authentic selves here in this community, that they know this is a place where they are loved. Thank you all for what you do to make this be that type of place for them. So I want to ask you to please notice where you are. We're going to take a little meditation moment, but it's going to be slightly different today. And just kind of feel yourself in the space. I know that sometimes, a long time ago when I used to start this kind of work, I felt like that seemed kind of odd statement, but just notice your feelings in your body. Where are you holding tightness? Same things as normal, but today, as we know, is a little bit different because we are in this time period of close to Halloween, not really Halloween, close to Dia de los Muertos, and we're not quite there, but we still want to acknowledge that space. So in many cultures, there is a belief. Actually, Sarah, if you're standing there, would you please prop up the orders of service there for these memorial celebrations? Don't put it on his picture, but never mind. Yeah, sorry, thank you. In many cultures, there is a belief that this time of year, particularly October 31st through November 3rd, so we're kind of in this in-between time, the veil between the living and the dead is particularly thin, i.e., there are fewer barriers between us. There's a belief that at this point in time, for whatever reason, we have easier access, I'll say, to people who have died. Therefore, it is a time when we tend to be more open to the possibility of connecting with people who are no longer physically present here today. With that idea in mind, I invite you to listen and participate in this meditation by Leslie Takahashi with an open heart and an open mind and an open spirit. This meditation requires a response from you, so this is not a no paying attention meditation. I encourage you to be here physically and mentally as well. So your words are, through this, we know immortality. Let's practice saying that together. Through this, we know immortality. Let us take a deep breath together. Focusing our intention into this space here and now. Let go of whatever it is that you might be worried about and bring your whole attention and focus here. In the daily weave of our lives, those who have died are still strong, guiding threads. Theirs is the golden glimmer, or perhaps the brilliant red, or the melancholy blue. Still, they are part of the whole cloth of our lives. They are the ancestors, the goers before. Join me. Through this, we know immortality. In the hour-to-hour rush of our daily tasks, they travel with us through something they taught us, which is now ours to do, through something they loved, which is now ours to carry out, through something we shared, which is now ours alone, and yet not. Please join me. Through this, we know immortality. In the minute-to-minute grasp of where we are, we remember the joys
our departed gave us, which opened us to hope. The sorrows we knew together, which taught us strength. The life shared, which is now ours to steward. Join me. Through this, we know immortality. In the second to second pulse of life, we sense the spirit of those we have loved and lost. This presence is too shy for naming, too amorphous for full knowing, and yet as real as the days we shared. Join me. Through this, we know immortality. They are more than remembered. They are memory itself. For what we love lies on in the way our beloved dead accompany us through our life. Their words and wisdom, our guide. Their humor, our relief. Their restless concern for the world, our charge. Through this, we know immortality. Let us take another moment to center ourselves in this space. Take a deep breath and feel the energy of those who have passed, from the daily to the hour to hour, to the minute, to the second to second. They are with us still. Thank you. Please remain seated for this month's meditation song, which is number 112, Do You Hear, in the gray hymnal.
Do you hear, oh my friend, in the place where you stand, through the sky, through the land? Do you hear, do you hear, in the heights on the plain, in the vale on the main, in the sun, in the rain? Do you hear, do you hear? Through the roar, through the rush, through the wrong, through the crush, do you hear in the hush of your soul, of your soul? Hear the cry, hear what's still, hear the heart's call to will, hear a sigh, startling thrill, in your soul, in your soul. From the place where you stand to the outermost strand, do you hear, oh my friend? Do you hear, do you hear? All the dreams, all the tears, all the sighs, all the prayers, they are yours, mine and theirs. Do you hear, do you hear?
Please join me in speaking our responsive reading this morning. They are still with us from the Gray Hymnal, number 721. I will read the standard text. Please respond by reading the italicized text. In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the names of those We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. Those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts. Let us name those who lend strength in our lives.
Friends, do you feel like the world's on fire? Feels like we're close to the world blowing up. So sometimes it feels a little ridiculous to even think about like carrying on like we are going to have a day after Election Day, right? It feels like, can we believe in anything beyond? I'm going to tell you that to keep planning and keep imagining events and life moving forward, that in itself is an act of hope. And that's what we do here, right? We plan, we dream, we build the community we want to see, no matter what happens after November 5th. So I want to make sure, I have to admit, I got this recently. This is my notification about being able to vote through the mail, and I opened it today and realized I'm actually slightly behind, but I can still get this in. I want to make sure that all of you have your plan to vote, and what that is. If you're going to mail it in ahead of time or if you're going to be there in person, make your plan. Now, I have to say that churches can't endorse candidates. We can't endorse candidates. I can't tell you who to vote for. I can't hand out anything that with the person's name on it, but what we can do is say, we believe in certain causes, don't we? We believe in welcoming immigrants, right? We believe in reproductive justice. We believe in the environment, we acknowledge climate change is real, and we're going to do everything we can to stop it, however we can. We're going to vote for people who support all of those causes. Yes. That makes me feel a little bit better. I don't know about you. But we have to acknowledge that because like not talking about the election feels like this constant elephant in the room. And it feels like, how do we acknowledge this big thing happening and that life's every day we have to keep going. So I'm going to keep acknowledging faith in all of you, faith in other people who believe this way, and that together we are going to make a difference. So thank you for that. I just had to say that before starting. I love rituals. You've heard me, we've done several rituals now, and I just love rituals because they tie us together, they tie us as a people, they help us remember who we are and where we've been and who we hope to be. And so today we're doing a slight variation on a ritual that we started last year on All Souls Day, and I'm going to introduce you to it in a little bit. But first, I wanted to talk some about All Souls Day and some things that I've learned about this community. So the first weekend that I was here coming in as my contract here started in May of 2023, and that was when there was a Spring Fest that weekend. And so I had talked to a bunch of people, and my car was parked in what I have to say, I grew up with a mother who grew up in Oklahoma, so I have a lot of her language. So I was about to say, I parked in the back 40. So that is her words, and every once in a while, like, her words come out, but like, that's clearly not the back 40, but that's what I mean when I say that. I parked way over there, and because there was no parking anywhere, it's such a great thing that there is so little parking, and so I was parked over there. And so after talking to many people after the service, then I think me and Marion, I think were the last ones here that day. And so I was walking by her to my car, and she stopped me. And she's like, I want you to see the memorial garden. And so, sorry, Marion, this just chokes me up. Like, so she brought me over, and at that point in time, that there was a big black tarp over the grass, over what was intended to be in the future. And she knew what it was in the past, and she was telling me a little bit about the plan for the future, that they had worked with the master gardener and everything, and I learned from her about walnut trees, and I learned about the deer who come and all of that kind of stuff. And that was really fascinating to me, like how important this memorial garden was, because it's not just the grounds and like the pavers that came and the beautiful flowers and the lovely benches that are now a part of it. It's also the vertical stones that are against a small hill that have plaques with people's names on it from people who have been a part of this community in the past. And so those plaques are reminders of individuals, sometimes whole families, that have contributed in some way in the past to the life of this community. I encourage you to go out there, maybe not today, but some point in the future, of making a regular visit, of going and looking at those names and remembering those people and all of the individuals and families who've contributed to making not just the physical space, but the ongoing story of this community. All of this is so intertwined. I remember last year someone was telling me, like, they kind of had a statement about a belief about one group of our congregation, and I just could not understand, like, where does this idea come from? And then they said, oh, it's from somebody who died like 3 years ago. Like, oh, okay. And but it's just the way that these messages and stories go on. Like, I'm sure that eventually when my mother dies, I'll still be referring to the back 40, because those are words that came from her that mean something to me that maybe somebody else doesn't know, but that's my association. The people, this congregation, because of that, has a strong affiliation, strong connection to people who have died, and you can feel it in the space if you are open to it. And you can also, for those of us who are newer, you can feel a space. For those of us who have been here for many decades, that you can look around and remember the faces of the people who used to sit right here in these pews. They were here, and they mattered, every one of them. And their spirit is still with us, everyone. Whether it was somebody we hadn't seen in a while because maybe they were ill, or somebody that had taken a break, or maybe they even moved away, but their impact is still with us today. I think of that as like today we talk about like social media influencers, and that has a role, but I also think about the way each of us have been influenced by people long, long before that we may not even realize until some event happens or some memory comes up. That is what is always with us. And in this time of year, I particularly like to have this service as a reminder that we have not lost that connection, that it is always there, and that is something that matters to us, to our hearts. I wanted to tell you that, so this is our second year of creating a little altar space for pictures of people who have passed on. And so last night I went searching around. I'm like, I want to put some fabric, some color on here. And I found this
little altar hanging, sacrament cloth. I don't know exactly what we're going to call it, but I found this hanging downstairs. And when you come up in a little bit, then you'll be able to see it better. But it says on one side, 1849, and on the other side, 1999. And then it says 150th anniversary. Ah, Dottie remembers that. Yes. 1849. So basically what this cloth is telling us is that the congregation began in 1849. According to the people in 1999 thought this, because there's some information that possibly that the fundraising for this building began in 1849. I don't know. Sometimes you look back at like, what are the real records? We don't know. But I'm going to just offer the idea that if the fundraising began in 1849, then the congregation itself, as a very small group of people, started probably maybe 5-6 years before that, or even earlier, because it takes a while for a group of people to decide, well, we're well organized enough that we need a space, right? So if we started in 1849, this is our 175th year. I did the math last night. I was like, wait a minute, why are we not throwing a party? And 175 years is a pretty amazing thing when, especially in the world we live in, that especially now, that tells us, because there was a long period of time where being a part of a faith community was the norm, everywhere you went. Now, it's much less of the norm, and so I think it takes even more courage, even more desire to be a part of this, and because there are so many more possibilities for you to be somewhere else. There are so many other things pulling on our time and attention and energy. But we know, because of all of you and people we know long before, I'm going to place my bet that we're going to continue way into the future because of all of you, because of the work that you continue to do. So I wanted this cloth in particular, even though it's not a Halloween or fall looking, because it's about our history. I love seeing your face, because one day I'm going to ask you that history. So I think it's so important to remember where we came from. I imagine this party in 1999. Like, wow. And some of you, besides Dottie, may have been there. Like, what an amazing thing to celebrate. I don't know if there was a party, but I don't know. It was a New Year's Eve party. Okay. So I just want to remind you how important it is to be a part of an ongoing community. This morning, one of my colleagues said that at her congregation, I don't know what state it is, that they are celebrating 25 years of being together. So it's important to celebrate the early stages and all that it takes to stay together and to stay in community. So in thinking on the combination of All Souls Day, and this month we've been talking about the practice of deep listening, then I remembered, because sometimes part of my process is just keep paying attention, what's happening. And I remembered this book that I read last year by Julia Cameron. And Julia Cameron is known for writing this book called The Artist's Way. And it came out many, many years ago. And so part of her practice is she talks about this thing called the morning pages. So the morning pages is sitting down every morning, and writing out handwriting 3 pages of whatever comes to your brain. Just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And so she submits, and I would agree that it helps you to be more centered and aware of what's in your brain, and helps you get it out. So I've been aware of Julia Cameron, and then last year in the spiritual direction class I was in, then we read another book by hers called The Art of Listening. And so in one of her chapters, then she talks about being able to listen to people who've passed on. And I love how she talks about how, even her friends, she went to them and said, is this a little too woo-woo? Is this okay? And they're like, oh, no, it's fine. Keep going. So sometimes it helps. We need people like that also in our lives who we can like bounce things off of. But she talked about how she, with her writing, being able to sit down every day and then sometimes as she's writing, feeling like without her even trying to seek something out, of getting guidance or maybe a thought from somebody in her that she personally knew, or maybe somebody that she didn't know, somebody who affected her. Like, can you imagine that Ruth Bader Ginsburg getting a message saying, keep on, keeping on? Whatever it is, from whoever it is, that we have that connection, even if it just helps us. So she encourages folks to be able to be open to what comes, but also to be able to take a moment and say, I know this is going to sound weird, but please stay with me. She takes a moment to say, can I hear from so-and-so today? And she might get something, or she might not, but she's still open to whatever that possibility is. Because the thing about doing the writing is that it keeps you open to maybe ideas you hadn't thought of before, or some new concept that hadn't come. And so that makes it be more available. So I wanted to share with you one of the quote that she starts off that chapter with. It's from David Searles. And he writes, seeing death as the end of life is like seeing the horizon as the end of the ocean. I'm just going to repeat that. Seeing death as the end of life is like seeing the horizon as the end of the ocean. You're on a ship somewhere or on the edge of a land and you see the horizon, your brain tells you that's the end. But there's another part in your brain that knows there's more than what you can see, right? So we hold on to both of those things at the same time. If we can have the possibility of being able to say the death is not the actual end. I know that it can seem kind of silly to think that our interaction ends, when it's put in this way, that seeing death as the end of life is like seeing the horizon as the end of the ocean. It seems kind of silly to think that the end of our interaction with someone ends when they die. I'm not going to belittle it and say that it doesn't matter. For example, when you realize I can no longer call this person. I can't send this person a funny text anymore. There are no gifts that I can send them. That is real. That is very real. I'm not going to say that's not true. And at the same time, their spirit is still with you. If we believe that we are still influenced today by people who died a few years ago or longer, people who made a difference, people who we are still taking inspiration from, people who have encouraged us on our way, then their spirit hasn't fully gone away. They are still with us. I wonder if it's possible for you to even contemplate that, like, would it be okay to even be open? Maybe that's something that you can perhaps just mull around in your head. I also wanted to tell you that a few days ago, Thursday morning, just a few days ago, I attended a virtual meeting of a cluster meeting of ministers in Michigan. We meet once a month on Zoom. This meeting, however, was very different. It began with one of our colleagues, who organizes this meeting. There was a whole nother plan for that day. There was a plan. But then she started off with saying, I need everybody to pay attention. And then she told us that Reverend Colleen Squires, the minister at Grand Rapids, died the night before of a heart attack.
We were in total shock. Can you imagine, like, what, there was somebody else who had a plan for that scrapped. When you get news like that, everything changes, doesn't it? In my previous ministry, Colleen was there for me through a program called Good Officers. She listened, supported, and encouraged me at a time when I needed it. When I moved to Michigan, like, we had this interaction, we had a few phone calls, and that was it. Like, I didn't even hear from her again for like maybe 2 years. And then I moved to Michigan, and then I'm on this cluster meeting, and I'm like, there's Colleen. I had forgotten that she lived in Michigan. And so there she was on these Zoom meetings, and so I would see her once a month. And then she came to last year's ministers' retreat. And then we had our ministers' retreat 2 weeks ago, and then she didn't come. And I posted in this Facebook group, that I enjoyed the retreat, and then she commented and said, oh, was there a retreat? I missed that. And she sent me an email directly asking if I could forward her the emails about the retreat, even though, they started going out in July, but I don't know how she missed them. And she wanted to find out, like, something happened or what? And then I never did get around to responding to her email. So that morning, I almost contemplated not attending that meeting because I was going to be embarrassed about not responding to her email. And I told myself, I'm going to come, and then I will apologize to Colleen. And then we're told that she died the night before. It was like, wow, this is just, I felt guilty and very sad, like I wish I had responded. To me, I feel like when our life regrets is about the things we don't do, the relationships we don't maintain. And at the same time, we know that Colleen would have been gracious about it because she was known for being a loving, supporting minister to other ministers. And that was what she did. Colleen is the reason why I encouraged us to take our church picture on October 6th outside our building, because her church does it. And it builds excitement and encouragement and enthusiasm about being part of the community. Colleen is why I started standing out there as early as I can on Sunday morning if I don't have too many other things, so I can greet people and talk to you, because you matter to me. Colleen will be influencing my life, the rest of my life. We all have people like that in our lives of some kind. So I'm going to ask you to maybe stretch out of your thoughts a little bit, and the ushers are going to help with a little interaction project that I would like you to do. We're going to pass out some fabric, some squares of fabric, and some fabric markers. And if you could go ahead and do that, and then just pass them around. And so what I would like you to do as you get them is to think on, is there someone that you feel like you want to say to somebody or something to receive from somebody? And we'll do it for like maybe 2 minutes, like after, if someone else could get up and help with passing out the fabrics with George and Denise. And thank you. I tried to separate them all out, but they used Christmas hooks, and so you know how that goes. But so as you get your fabric, then you can either write on it with a pen, or we have some fabric markers, and to just think on what you might want to put on there. And we're just going to hold some time together. And as you think of something and as you write, then come up here, and we have some strings up here that you can't see from where you are, and just come and hang them up here. And so Diana is going to play some music. We're going to hold some time here together to do that for like 2 or 3 minutes. And so you're free to participate however works for you. So if you want to go ahead, and Diana. Diana, could you stop for a second? So I'm asked to repeat the instructions. So if you could write on your fabric whatever it is you might want to say to somebody, or something maybe that you have felt someone has said to you. Or you could be open to, like, it's communication, you out or something from. Okay, we'll start again. May this display of all of our messages to and from help us to feel more grounded, more connected, more loved, perhaps some joy, perhaps some understanding. May it be so. Amen. And I have to, because I can't do telepathy,
then I have to tell the Jamie and Beck that we are going to move on to our offering, and the choir is going to come up and sing, and we have a slide deck that will play then. So just letting Jamie know that.
Before we take the offering, I would like to call Becca Seaton up here. She has a gift for someone very special in our beloved community.
Marie Lowry has worked tirelessly to make us a good trouble congregation, to get out the vote, to do so many amazing things working towards the election. And we thank her. You are saving the world, Marie.
We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with that faith that together we have enough. You are now invited to participate in the blessing of giving as the ushers come among you to accept the gifts of the congregation. You may also give online via the QR code on the back of the order of service. Thank you.
Let it go, my love, my
Please join me in reciting the offertory blessing that can be found in your order of service. To the work of creating beloved community within and beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings. Please rise as you are willing and able to sing our hymn from the Gray Hymnal, number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song.
For those who came before us, we offer gratitude and thanks. May their memories be a blessing. May we feel surrounded by their love. May we live their love in all we do. As we go forth from this time and place out to the treats on the trail, let us be inspired by their courage, their wisdom, and their dreams. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Amen, and blessed be.